So we're going to think about HRM and the function and how it supports the organization. We're going to think about how the individual participates in the employment process. We're going to talk about how HR management becomes a benefit and a strategic partner to the organization. And then we're going to do a quick overview of some of the major HR practices. So HRM is the policies, practices, and systems that influence and change our employee behavior, our attitudes, and our performance. And the major functions of HR include the analysis and design of work, really building out that job description once you've figured out what type of job you need to hire, planning and forecasting for the organization, recruitment and selection, which is talent acquisition, training and development, your onboarding, your employee engagement, your advancement of individuals inside your organization, compensation, promotions, market surveys, how we price point that job in the market inside our organization, how do we maintain equity, performance management. This is the overall life cycle of somebody inside the organization from their first day of work through their 90 days on the job, through their 6 months evaluation, and then their 1-year review. And then finally, employee relations, making sure that we are in compliance with health and safety, along with best practices to maintain positive work environments, diversity, inclusion. So good positive relationships with managers and their employees, and fair and equitable work practices. There are 3 product lines for HR. They are the administrative tasks like payroll, business partner, helping them hire a particular person to their business unit, or strategic partner. How are we assessing the talent inside the organization? What do we need for the future? What does the market look like? Really understanding the overall mission of the organization and making sure that HR is there to support that. There's components of HR that are very much in that administrative world, can be outsourced through providers like Paycom or ADP. Plus, there's also self-service functions where employees will use the app right on their phone to select their benefits, identify their tax deductions, think about their flexible spending accounts, put money away for retirement. All of these things are options for them in this self-service model where they are really controlling their benefits packages and their payroll. You know, it's important for the organization, if the HR department is small, to really do the direct work with the employee. So outsourcing definitely makes sense. If there's a large project or a large recruitment that needs to happen, maybe thinking about outsourcing some talent management might be the best scenario for the organization. And certainly protection from lawsuits. If you don't have an internal legal department, making sure that you have an outsourced legal advisor who can help with all your employee relations issues is key. So our role as a strategic partner is making sure we have the right people in the organization, they're doing the right things, and they are executing on the business strategy. And if the organizational structure is set up that the HR person in charge has a direct line of communication to the CEO, that's best. We really want to make sure that your chief human resources officer is at the same level in the organization as your CFO or your chief operating officer. So we want them really high on that executive board to really impact the overall organization and the mission. The Society for Human Resource Management is a great society that gathers and collects data, houses it on their website for HR professionals. You can become a member for a small fee. Also, there's a New England Human Resources chapter who runs local conferences, so you can get access to information and people to support you in the function right in your backyard. There are 9 competencies for HR professionals, super important: business acumen, really having a strong problem solving and decision making skill set, and that critical evaluation, really thinking about diversity and inclusion in your workplace, developing strong relationships with people, having excellent communication skills, both written, oral, very important. Being able to really understand the big picture, that broad view of the organization, being able to navigate how does somebody get answers to problems inside the organization. And finally, acting as that consultant or advisor to the business unit, just so important in terms of HR competencies. In HR, we really want to focus on empowering employees and creating learning organizations. And we really want them also focusing on change. Our worlds are changing, our workplaces are changing. How does the HR professional really support those changes in the workplace through continuous learning and through employee engagement are key concepts for the HR person. So being able to be really within the organization of knowing what the employees are asking for, are seeking in their workplace, really having strong knowledge of that core group of people that are on the front lines doing the work, middle management, executive level, knowing their satisfaction in their jobs and whether they are performing challenging work that's inspiring to them is just so important. Making sure that there's a reward and recognition feature to your organization and that the organization really is connecting somebody's job to their mission and will also provide for the future, both for the company and for that employee. So much of what we are doing every day is about talent management and really thinking about how are we utilizing our human capital, knowing what our revenue goals are, knowing where our profitability needs to be, and how does our human capital really make that happen inside the organization is that talent management. So quick summary, HR is really impacting what's happening within the organization internally and externally. Those 3 lines: administrative, business partner, and strategic. And then really functioning with an understanding, strong business acumen, and the ability to really service the organization as an HR partner.